I moved here when I was 10, and I could tell you that I've never put my feet in that water in my whole life. But it took me a while to really think back on that and say, damn, man, I live next to a river and I never ever went in it.
We want to make sure that community that is impacted directly by the Superfund gets to have a seat on the table and a voice.
There had to be a way for me to learn how to communicate in a way that can be effective and show some change.
I learned about environmental justice by working side by side with PCAT members and learning how it impacts everyone's life in the community.
This is different in the sense that we're not just an advisory group. We are an action team. We have a voice. We can implement change within the port.
PCAT, or the Port Community Action Team, is a model that demonstrates that you could put community at the center of what you're doing.
Just looking at the agenda, we don't wanna overwhelm it with a lot of things, but I think it's worth mentioning a couple of things. I think it's really important that we do a moment for announcements, because there's just so much going on, and I want to make sure that if there are important things that need to be announced, there's time for that.
My name is Christina Lee Rajan Billingsley, and I was a port staff from 2016 to 2023. By the time I arrived at the Port of Seattle, people had an understanding that their port operations were impacting community members, specifically in the Duwamish Valley, in pretty adverse ways.
And for the first time, the port was recognizing all these negative impacts that the neighborhoods were having. And not only recognizing, but also putting dollars behind their words, which for us was a huge win.
This effort has not only allowed us to make innovative community-led investments in the Duwamish Valley, but is also now nationally recognized as a model for community engagement in environmental justice efforts.
Then we formalized the process, and that's where port staff and port leadership and community members from Georgetown and South Park came together, and the members from Georgetown and South Park became known as the PCAT, the Port Community Action Team.
My name is Maribel Pastor, and I work in South Park, which is part of the Duwamish Valley. The community where we live and work is a very strong community, but it's been lacking historically of resources, infrastructure, and through the years they have recognized that. They have acknowledged that they have a responsibility with the people of the Duwamish Valley, and they're trying to rectify that.
The establishment of this building, the Duwamish River Community Hub, this was a direct outcome from the language that was co-written with the Port Community Action Team and port staff to dream about and develop some sort of economic development center for the community to be able to access port jobs.
So we heard that that was a really important community staple and made sure that we took actions to protect it for community benefit.
We can reimagine this space as a larger educational center for the Duwamish Valley, where port and PCAT members could come here and work together and build relationship. And so seeing kind of expanded version of the hub is a dream of PCAT's.
So many hands have touched this space to make it as we receive it today.
I know so many of you have dedicated your career to this moment. I know so many of our community members have dedicated their life and their advocacy to seeing this moment. And so I hope you all are as proud and excited as I am today.
The cohort is always changing, and the different members that are in each cohort are able to express different gifts that allow the PCAT to continue to evolve.
My hope for PCAT is to continue with the legacy that the founding members, created. And now I think we have the responsibility of continuing the work by actually seeing the results in the implementation.
Representation matters. That's why having an institutionalized seat at the table through a vehicle like PCAT is so important, so that we're not just responsive to, but we're actually reflective of the communities that we love and that we serve.
I think the port has a lot to offer. And in the past, I think that was just a few folks that knew, and now I think there's a big movement to try to open up and make sure that everyone has the same opportunities and everybody knows about what is happening.